just trying to get rid of that thing, okay. Good evening, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to the Bridgewater Conservation Commission. The date is June 13th, 2024. The time is, I will say,
5:37.
5:37. We have a quorum, so we can open the meeting. For the record, the members present and staff present: Harry Bailey, Marilyn McDonald, Eileen Prisco, Mark Peterson, Bob Ruley, the Director of Community and Economic Development, and myself, Wendy Smith. Let's see, I'll now read the governor's order for online meetings into the record. Disclosure pursuant to section 20 of chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, an act relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency. This meeting of the Conservation Commission for the town of Bridgewater will be hybrid and accessible to the public through remote participation to the greatest extent possible. There will be no public attendance permitted. Citizens who wish to tune into the meeting may do so via Zoom. The link and the phone number are both on the website at bridgewaterma.org. So on the agenda tonight, we have public hearings. We have old business, notice of intent, 0 Lakeshore Center. Do we have to vote on that when it comes up? No, it's been continued. Third-party review is not completed yet, so that will be continued till the next meeting, which is June 27th. Then we have a notice of intent for 180 Broad Street, map 21, lot 143, 144, 149, and 150. We have new business, a notice of intent for 69 Harvard Street, a notice of intent for 0 State Prison Road, a notice of intent for transmission lines, and a request for determination of applicability for 64 Pleasant Drive. And then we have Conservation Commission business, administrative items, minutes, and the adjournment. So with that, I need to make a statement to anybody that is online. If anybody has any questions or concerns or needs information regarding anything that is on our agenda, you need to contact the office at the town hall. People cannot reach out to individuals via email, Facebook, Messenger, looking to get information or clarification or anything. It's a big no-no. You can't get information outside of the public hearing. So if you have anything that you need to ask about, you need to check in with staff at the town hall. Marilyn, did I miss anything?
Yes, and that's Eileen.
Oh, Eileen, okay.
You need to stop reaching out to the members specifically.
Yeah, no.
Conservation Commission.
Those are personal emails, and personal spaces. Right. So it's not, we don't discuss anything and can't comment on anything.
Yep, you got it, Wendy. Nothing outside the meeting, the public hearing. It is a legal public hearing. It's a big no-no. And people will have plenty of time to voice their concerns during the open public comment period during all meeting agendas. So please do not reach out to any individual directly. We will not respond, and it's a big no-no. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, with that being said, old business is, do we have to vote on the 0 Lakeshore Center? I don't know.
No.
Okay, so that has been continued to June 27th. Next up is a notice of intent for 180 Broad Street, map 21, lot 143, 144, 149, 150. The applicant representative, Edgewood Development Company, LLC, Pear Corporation. I don't know.
Madam Chair, I would ask if you have the vice chair explain what the situation is.
Okay. Marilyn, I defer.
I'm muting now. All right. So according to our recent vote of third-party review, we have approved a list of 3. Unfortunately, I think that was not maybe made clear through staffing. We're not going to throw anybody under the bus, but it is our precedence moving forward that these third peer reviews are done by the 3 firms that we have chose. So this third peer review cannot be accepted. We can take a vote on that. With all individuals weighing in, this is not from one that we recognize, and we need to stay concrete with every application. Again, I'm sorry to the applicant. I don't think this was done anything willfully, but we need to make sure that we are staying on protocol with every application and every hearing moving forward, because there are going to be third-party peer reviews. And that's just, that's how we voted, and we have to, the commission, is the one that makes these rulings, and we have to go by the commission. So Wendy, I'll give it back to you if you want to do a roll call vote on
Can I
that.
just interrupt for a second, Marilyn, please?
Yep.
I know Mr.
I'm not
Metzler is gonna probably want to comment.
Yes,
And
I indeed am.
let
I'm
me
not sure
just-
I'm not sure I understand.
Steve, Steve, stop talking for a minute.
Okay,
So I was not at the meeting that the third-party peer review was discussed. And I didn't realize what had happened until I looked at the recording today. At that meeting, it was represented several times that the Conservation Commission had identified 3 preferred firms that they wanted to do third-party review. Staff had represented that they would get that list to you. That did not happen. That did not get the list to you. So that is what the issue at hand is.
okay. So are you saying that you're not going to accept the third-party review that was already done?
I'm not saying anything. I'll defer back to the commission.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, and we can take a vote on that, but the commission feels that we're only accepting the ones that we had voted on previously and should be supplied. So we can't,
Okay, wait
there's a
a
precedent
second.
call. Again,
Wait a-
I'm sorry, there was miscommunication.
Hold on a second.
Hold on, whoa, don't tell me to hold on a second, please. I'm giving you the logistics of this. It's not a valid report for us. I'm sorry it happened to you. So
Well,
I'll
we signed
share
a
if you want to
contract.
entertain a motion and that we can give these guys the list and they can move on. It's a very short ask. You can probably do it by the next meeting, but it's really not up for debate. End of discussion.
We are not consenting to a continuance for this purpose. The peer review was conducted at the direction of Mr. Ruley. We signed a.
Mr. Ruley is not on the commission. He doesn't make the rules for the commission. So and I'm gonna make this nice and short and sweet then. If that's the route you're gonna take, then I will recommend, because every one of these members are agreeing that that was not our third party, and I'm sorry you'd have to maybe inflict a small amount to have the legal ones that we have voted on to make these calls for us. And
Who's
if
going
not,
to pay?
we can close and we can deny this without prejudice, and you can come back when you're
Who's
ready to
gonna-
do one of the third peer reviews. That's
Who's
how
gonna
simple
pay-
this is.
Who's going to pay for the peer review that was set up by Mr. Ruley?
You know what? That's not our problem. We have 3 that we go with. Now, did miscommunication happen? That's not on this board. But this board is not going to vote on a third peer review that we do not authorize.
And what's wrong with this third party that you?
It's not on our accepted list. So we've made it and most towns do this. So, you go to an adjacent town, they give you 1 to pick from. We actually give 3 that handle both, some just wetlands, some, techno stuff, but those are the 3 that we have accepted. And those are the 3 that you have to use. We don't take.
We would have been happy to use one of those 3 if they were communicated to us.
And
They were not.
And
Mr.
it
Ruley
happened, so we can't set precedents on this. So it has, and it's a small, quick ask, and that's not an expensive peer review. It really isn't, but it has to be legal for us.
It was $5,500 for the peer review that we authorized.
Well, it's a large project, and you know what? We have to stay by the protocol. So if another member would like to weigh in also, I'd appreciate it.
It's just unfair. And, this is 2 months after we came in. It's unbelievable.
You were on the meeting. You heard the request for the 3.
You didn't
So it's not
mention.
our fault if you didn't follow up on it. To be honest with you,
I
it's
didn't
not from the
follow up
commission.
on it. You're putting this on me? I can't
Wendy,
believe
did
it.
you not direct him at the end of the meeting to get the list?
To get the list, you have to send me the list. Where am I going to get the list from?
You can call,
You have to-
Oh, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Do what you got to do, and we'll do what we have to do. It's completely unfair. Wendy, if you're talking, you're muted.
I am talking, and I was muted because the train was going by. I wanted to say that So it was, I did clearly state that there were 3 that was to be picked from, the 3 that we have on file at the office. And maybe the admin assistant said that she would get the list. If she didn't get the list, someone from your office should have called her to get it, because that's what we use, because we have a lot of other projects that we have to stay with the 3 so that we know that we can trust them. And I looked over all the things that they said on this, and it looks fine. And I don't know, maybe, I don't know what to say, like, the thing
I would-
is that it sets a precedent for other people to say, oh, well, so-and-so got to use a different one that they chose. And that's
didn't-
not gonna be fair
We
for
didn't,
us to like go off of.
we didn't choose this person. We didn't choose this reviewer. This was the reviewer that Mr. Rulli chose. And I assumed that it was one of the ones on your list because that's who he
To
sent
be
it
fair, Steve, you had a 53G account with Howard Stein Hudson. And again, my office made a mistake. I wasn't at the meeting. I didn't realize that the representation had been made, that the list would get to you. But in fairness, you never ever asked for the list. So again, we can fight over who's going to pay for it, but in the interest of time, I think you understand that this is going to be continued.
I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't consent to it, but by the same
Madam
token,
Chair.
can we please look at the
Hold on, Harry.
the review that was done, and perhaps it's adequate. Certainly
It's not
done
a
by
matter of being adequate. I looked at the review. I like the review, to be honest with you, but it's not a matter of being adequate. Do you understand? It's a matter of us following our commission voted in laws now. We voted this in as a commission to use these 3. So we're not going to sit here and go around in circles. It's this simple. You can consent. You can, if you don't want to do it, we'll close the hearing. And my recommendation would be to deny without prejudice and then come back, with a third-party review of one of those 3 chosen. Or you can simply reach out to those 3. You have actually that peer review. It could probably be done in a quickly, timely manner. But that way we all stay within our guidelines. And basically that's the 2 choices. So Harry and Eileen, Mark, if you want to say anything, make it now, because I'm going to be making a motion very shortly.
Harry wanted to say something. Harry, you're muted.
I'm not voting on anything that I got yesterday to read. All right? We'll put it that way. Short and sweet. I
and
got
that's
this
not- that's not
yesterday.
our fault either.
I'm not voting on it.
That's not our fault either. Okay, let's continue it to June 27th. That's my request. And perhaps somebody can send us that list and I'll choose from that list immediately. We'll get Howard Stein Hudson to determine how they're going to get paid. We'll figure that out later. But please note my objection to the entire process here. It's
Noted.
And
there's
please
been-
note us to follow our protocol so that we don't set precedents.
I-
So Chair,
I-
could you entertain a motion for a continuance then?
Yep, could we have?
Oh,
one-
I'm sorry, Chair. I'm sorry. Anybody in the audience when this was opened? I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. No,
Actually, it's being continued, so we're good.
okay. Is there a motion? Can I have a motion to continue 180 Broad Street until June 27th?
Motion to continue notice of intent 180 Broad Street, map 21, lot 143, 144, 149, 150 to June 23rd, you said?
27th.
June 27th,
Mhm.
pending third-party review.
A second.
Thank you. Roll call vote, Marilyn,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Eileen,
Aye.
Harry,
Aye.
and myself, Wendy, aye. Thank you, Steve. Okay, next up on the agenda, we have a new business. We have a notice of intent for 69 Harvard Street, map 32, lot 99. The applicant representative is Alicia and Stephanie Elii. Sorry if I killed the name. Greg Driscoll Jr., PE, Civil Incorporated. Let me read the public notice. 69 Harvard Street. Bridgewater Legal Notice, Notice of Public Hearing, Conservation Commission, Bridgewater, Mass. In accordance with Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Town of Bridgewater Local Wetland Bylaw, Bridgewater Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on June 13th, 2024 for notice of intent filed by Alicia and Stephanie Lei. The applicant proposes to construct an addition to their single-family dwelling. This property is owned by Alicia and Stephanie Lei and is located at 69 Harvard Street, Bridgewater, map 32, lot 99. Please contact the Bridgewater Conservation Office at 508-697-0950 for the time and location or link for virtual participation. All interested parties are encouraged to attend. Agenda can be found at www.bridgewaterma.org at least 48 hours prior to the meeting date. And we do have a butter notification. So is there a representative for this project that's present and would like to share?
Amanda Langer is here representing the applicant, and I will just quickly give her the opportunity to share her screen.
Perfect.
Should be good to go, Amanda.
Awesome. Thank you. Just trying to isolate my plan here. It's actually been a while since I've done Zoom.
Yeah.
Share screen. And I can share just the PDF, right?
Should be able to.
Can you see it?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. Fantastic. Okay, so good evening. My name is Amanda Langer. I am here on behalf of our client, Stephanie and Eli. I always mispronounce last name. Elye, excuse me. This is for a notice of intent to construct an addition on their single-family dwelling at 69 Harvard Street. The wetland delineation was performed by Environmental Consulting Restoration LLC on July 21st, 2021. We have bordering vegetative wetlands as shown here. We show the 25-foot no activity as well as the 50-foot no build and the 100-foot wetland buffer. Let me scroll in here so you can see a little bit better. There you go. So the existing dwelling is within these limits right here. And my client wishes to put on an addition with a garage to the west of that. And I know it is within the 50-foot no build buffer, but it actually is not as encroaching as what is currently existing. So they're sort of stuck with the footprint that they have and the way that the floor plan lays out with what they are planning on adding here. They need this doorway to be able to connect to this back area here. We are removing some of the impervious area right here for the existing driveway that is going to be restored with loam and seed. And they are going to be extending their driveway to the east on this portion over here to have proper access to the new garage that they are proposing. We have proposed, per the bylaw, silt fence with straw bale barrier. That is going to be going all along the perimeter of the work line here, as well as over here. We also have proposed a dewatering basin and 2 silt sacks within the catch basins in Harvard Street. And we also have the wetland markers proposed along the areas of disturbance that are already within the lawn that are existing. So it's a pretty simple cut and dry plan.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Amanda.
You're welcome.
Bob, do you have anything that you want to add to this? Comments?
I probably wouldn't use cut and dry in a wetland conversation, but no.
Valid.
I would just, if you're, maybe just pull your screen, your shared screen down, Amanda, so we can see other members.
Oh, can you see my whole screen?
Well, yeah, just take the plan down for a moment.
Okay, so stop sharing.
There you go.
Okay, commission members? Comments? Can I just?
The no,
ask-
oh, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can I just ask, is I know the above ground pool is not like a structure, but it's inside the 25 foot. I mean, obviously that is there, but there's a
Correct.
deck that looks like it was built there.
Yeah, so that, I believe, from what I was told by the surveyor, that has been there for quite some time. The owners are here and they can speak to that. I believe they did purchase the house with that. I
Uh-huh.
don't believe that was constructed by them. So that was something that I had asked them about because I knew it would be brought up.
Mm,
But that's not something that they went and built.
gotcha.
Was there an order of conditions with that when they, I mean, a certificate of compliance with that when they bought it, or has any of this come before, do you know?
I don't know.
So that's not an active wetline, and in other words, it's not approved, we'd have to go out and check that wetland line.
You mean if there was a category 6 done on this, or if that was?
No, if there was an ANRAD done, so that wetland.
No,
line
there was not.
Is being approved under the notice of intent, okay.
Yep, I believe, I apologize. I believe when we did the filing, it's been a while. We also added in the filing fee for that to be certified as well. See if I can double check this here.
We'll have to take a look at automatically with an ANRAD or a notice of intent, we look at the line, and if we agree with it, then it's or changed. So we'll, I mean, as far as what I've got left to say is definitely staking on those corners and stuff near the wetland line. And Harry, have your auger ready?
I'll let you borrow it.
I know, I guess mine's delayed shipment. I don't know where it is.
Are you, so do you want them staked prior? I mean, obviously they'll be staked prior to construction, but do you want them staked for when someone goes out to confirm the wetland line?
Yeah, we have to definitely go take a
Okay.
look at this site,
Yes,
so
please.
you can let the office know through Bob and Nicole when you guys have staked them, and that will
Okay.
give us the green light to go out.
Of course, yep.
And that's what I have for comments, and back to you, Wendy, in the game.
Okay. So it sounds like a site visit after they're staked. Eileen, do you have anything you want to add?
I mean, really, until we get it staked, we really can't say too much right now.
Okay. Harry and Mark, anything you want to add?
I got.
I was probably on the commission when the deck was built. I
Right.
kind of remember something about it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we should find out if there's an order of conditions that was signed off or not signed off on.
Okay.
I can put that in my notes to try and research as well.
Okay.
So, Madam Chair, I don't know if Member Peterson had
No, he,
comments.
yep. Mark, did you want to say
Oh,
something?
sure. So if this goes through, regarding the pool and dumping water and removing water, if there is no current order condition for what to do with the water, can that be added to the future order condition for this unrelated project? Because I know how we, do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. Marilyn, do you want to speak to that?
So Amanda, what I would suggest is that you ask for this to be continued
Okay,
and allow the members, once it's staked, to conduct a site visit.
of course.
Yeah, we can address it. But I would check with anybody in the audience on this hearing.
Yep. Is there any abutters that have any comments, questions, concerns that they want to share regarding 69 Harvard? You can raise your hand or wave at Bob.
Well, the good news is no one has said I'm number one, so that's good.
I do have a couple quick questions. Do you want us just to stake the foundation corners, or do you want us to also stake the limits of the proposed deck on the back of the addition?
Marilyn, do you want to weigh in on that, or did you want me to answer?
Oh, I'm sorry, you can answer.
Yeah, both.
Okay, perfect. Happy to do so. Will you want myself present at the site meeting when you guys go out there?
I don't know if it's gonna be a quorum at this time. It might be, you know, two or less of individuals going out.
Okay,
If
I
it
think
ends
if
up
you have
being
it
a quorum,
properly staked, then you're probably not gonna need to be there.
okay,
But we can communicate back to you depending if it turns out that all of the members want to go and we're gonna have a quorum, we'll post it. And then it might be better if you're there, but if they're gonna go individually or in twos, then we're not gonna make you ping pong back and forth.
That's
okay. And would you like a DEP sign put up in the front?
Yes,
Okay. I didn't know if we had to wait until we move forward with it.
no,
I
they-
did- I was gonna say, I do recall seeing something in the bylaws about that. Okay, and in the event that there is an outstanding previous order of conditions, would you like to also have me file something to close out that order of conditions?
yes, I do.
I am happy to do so.
Great.
Yep.
Thanks, Amanda.
No
Yeah,
problem.
usually it gets picked up when they're selling, so.
Yeah, I know, but a lot of, I'm not 100% sure when they bought it, and I see it all the time that it gets missed. And
Right.
it's wild.
Yep,
What is the next meeting date?
The 27th, June 27th. 2 weeks.
Wow, okay, great.
Okay,
So I guess I would like to request to continue this to June 27th.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion?
Motion to continue. I got it on the back. Motion to continue notice of intent 69 Harvard Street, map 32, lot 99 to June 27th.
Do I have a second?
Second,
Thank you. Roll call vote, Marilyn,
Aye.
Harry,
aye.
Eileen,
aye.
Mark,
Aye.
and myself, Wendy. Aye. All right, thank you. Thanks, Amanda. We'll see you on the 27th.
Thanks so much, I appreciate it.
All right. Next up, we have a notice of intent for Zero State Prison Road, map 90, lot 999B. Applicant representative is CDW Consultants and SARS contractor for Mass DEP. I believe, I don't know what the issue was the address wrong? I'm gonna open this. I'm gonna read the ad. Abutters were notified, but we are going to continue it. Is that correct?
That's
Bob,
my understanding.
Okay. So this is the ad for Zero State Prison Road, Bridgewater, legal notice of public hearing, Conservation Commission, Bridgewater, Mass. In accordance with Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, in the Town of Bridgewater Local Wetland Bylaw, the Bridgewater Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on June 13th, 2024 for a notice of intent filed by CDW Consultants as Site Assessment and Remediation Support Services Contractor for the Mass Department of Environmental Protection, Mass DEP. Mass DEP proposes to excavate approximately 20 cubic yards of shallow arsenic contaminated soil for off-site disposal and backfill with clean soil. The property is owned by the Massachusetts Department of Correction and is a 3-acre wooded area commonly referred to as 118 to 194 Flag Street, located on a portion of Zero State Prison Road, map 90, parcel 999B. Please contact the Bridgewater Conservation Office at 508-697-0950 for the time and location or link for virtual participation. All interested parties are encouraged to attend. Agenda can be found at www.bridgewaterma.org at least 48 hours prior to the meeting date. So where's my sheet? So I'm confused as to what to do. We're just going to make a motion to continue.
So
That would
my
be-
understanding, okay, ahead, Bob.
Yeah, that would be the appropriate. Someone makes a motion to continue it to the June 27th meeting.
And is it based on the address was incorrect?
Incorrect notification with the addresses.
Okay,
So they'll have to be notified from what I understand. It's incorrect information.
okay, so we need to re-notify.
So I can make a motion to continue notice of intent 0 State Prison Road, map 90, lot 998 for re-notification to June 27th.
Second,
Thanks, Harry. And roll call vote, Marilyn?
Aye.
Harry?
aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Eileen,
Aye.
and myself, Wendy, aye. All right, thank you. So that's continued. 677. Next up is a notice of intent for V5, V6 and S8, 115 transmission lines on properties where the electric company holds easements. The applicant representative is New England Power Company and VHB. This is the illegal ad, Massachusetts Electric Company, legal notice, notice of public hearing, Conservation Commission, Bridgewater, Mass. In accordance with Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Town of Bridgewater Local Wetland Bylaw, the Bridgewater Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on June 13th, 2024 for a notice of intent filed by the Massachusetts Electric Company. The applicant proposes to replace existing transmission line structures that have become obsolete. The project is proposed on property owned by the Mass Electric Company and on other properties where the Massachusetts Electric Company holds utility easements. A list of project parcels is available from the Conservation Commission. Upon request, please contact the Bridgewater Conservation Office at 508-697-0950 for the time and location or link for virtual participation. All interested parties are encouraged to attend. Agenda can be found at the www.bridgewaterma.org at least 48 hours prior to the meeting date. Notice published, Enterprise, June 2nd, 2024. And the butters were notified. And is there someone from New England Power Company that wants to share?
How you doing?
Hi.
My name is Adam Rosenblatt. I work for VHB and I'm here representing New England Power, Mass Electric, National Grid for this project. And my company is located at 1 Cedar Street, Suite 400, Providence, Rhode Island, for the record.
Okay.
So I'll take a few minutes to go through things, and I assume you want me to share. I will get that going. There we go. I think we're working there. Can folks see my screen?
Not yet. There it is.
Okay. Very good. All right.
Yep.
If you can see that, good. So this project, if folks on the commission may recall, back in about this time in 2021, we came before you with a notice of intent for what at the time was our geotechnical investigation, which was for the soil borings that were proposed to support the design of this particular project. So that work was completed over the next 2 years roughly, and that design information was collected and used to design the project that I'm here presenting to you now. So that order of conditions that was ultimately issued, we did get a certificate of compliance for that back in March of 2023, just so you know. So the project limits from when we were here before you have not changed. The project begins at what is the Bridgewater substation, which is located on Pleasant Street or Route 104, sort of just to the east of the Home Depot Plaza over there. And it runs south ultimately into Raynham right after Route 495. So this overall project is roughly 20 miles. It runs from Somerset, Mass, all the way up to Bridgewater, and you're the northern terminus of the project. The project involves 3 different circuits within an existing cleared right-of-way. These are all existing facilities. The S8 line is what we call a single circuit structure. It's supported by what we call wooden H frames. They look like the letter H, and they're comprised of 2 wooden utility poles with a cross arm across the top. And then the V5 and the U6 are what we call a double circuited structure. So those are the lattice towers, or the things that look like steel erector sets in the right of way. And there's 1 circuit on each side of the tower. So there'd be like 3 arms, and then there'll be the 3 phases of the wire for the V5, and on the other side is the 3 phases of the wire for the U6. And the proposal is to basically replace all of these assets. The steel lattice towers are sort of circa 1920, so they're about 100 years old now. And the S8 structure, which is on the wood poles, those are from, I think, the 70s. Typically, the wooden structures are about a 30-year lifespan, and obviously we're beyond that. That isn't to say they haven't done maintenance over the years, of course, but in general, both lines are in need of refurbishment due to age. They're not compliant with current design standards and many other things. Obviously, since they're 100 years old, things were quite a bit different back then. So the plan is to replace both circuits and not to change the configuration of the wire in any significant way. So the replacement structures will be steel, and there'll be what we call a steel monopole. So these are a single utility pole that's made out of metal. For the structures that are on points of intersection or angles where there's line strain, those will be on like a concrete caisson foundations. And for the structures that are in line where there isn't any sort of line tension or anything like that, or strain, those are what we call directly embedded structures. So those would be the steel monopole. They would drill a hole and put in a supporting, like it basically looks like a big culvert in the ground, and then they put the structure inside of that, fill it with stone and compact that, and that's it. So those are the directly embedded structures. The plan here, because there are 3 different circuits associated with the project, it's going to be done in phases. So the S8 line will go first into construction, and the plan is to start doing work on that this summer into fall. The project will begin in the south, so it'll be starting in the Somerset area and then working its way north. So the S8 line will be in construction roughly until like spring of 2026. At that time, they'll be transitioning over to the V5 and the U6 lines, and those would be in construction for about another 1.5 to 2 years. So it is a pretty long project. It's about a 4-year project, give or take. And there's a lot of components to it. I'll sort of go through those briefly here. The project proponent would typically start out with vegetation maintenance. So that would be mowing in the right-of-way in the areas where access are proposed and where there are work pads associated with each of the structures. Following the mowing, there'd be an erosion and sediment control contractor that would come in and install compost filter stock throughout any areas of the right-of-way where there's going to be any sort of excavation or soil disturbing activity. And at that time, they'll also be installing what we call construction matting, or some people used to call them swamp mats. We tend to say construction matting now. These are timber mats or wooden timbers that are bolted together. You've probably seen them maybe on projects in town before. They roughly, each mat measures maybe 4 by 16 feet, and they lay these out through wetlands as a BMP to offset the weight of vehicles in a way that doesn't result in any significant soil disturbance. So these mats would go in, and following the mat installation, they would follow with foundation crews. So those would be the crews that would come in with drill rigs, and they would drill the holes for the poles, the new poles, and they would pour the concrete foundations for those structures that are receiving a foundation. Once the foundation crew has sort of moved through, then the overhead line crews would come in where they would be doing the structure setting. So that would mean erecting the steel poles, getting them framed up or having the arms put on it, and then that sort of thing. Once they've erected the towers, the wire pulling crews would then come in. So they'd be attaching pulleys, and in some cases a guide rope or a messenger rope through those pulleys on the towers to pull in the cable or conductor that's going to be the replacement wire that's overhead. There's a possibility that they may use the existing conductor on a current circuit to pull in the new conductor, in which case they wouldn't need that messenger rope. That's going to be entirely dictated by outages that they get from ISO New England. These are sort of generally outages out of their control. Just sort of pointing that out because it is, a very complicating factor for the company to have to, request outages, and it's not always exactly known how the outage plan is going to go. But they will be able to conduct their line either with the line out or under a situation where it's hot and they use a different type of construction technique in order to start, building the new tower and the new lines. So once the wire's been pulled in, they'll connect that to the new towers, at which point they would, test it and then energize the system. And once they've done that and everything is shipshape and sound, that's when they can start to remove the old towers. Okay. So the plan would be to remove any of the existing foundations to a depth of at least 18 inches below grade. And then they would restore that area with topsoil when in uplands or with wetland topsoil when in wetland. And then seed those areas. If in wetland, they would use a native wetland seed mix from like New England Wetland Plants Inc. And in upland, they would tend to use a native conservation seed mix focused primarily on pollinators. Following the removal of the towers and the sort of the in situ restoration at those locations, they would be able to start removing the construction matting and then removing ultimately the erosion controls once they've achieved vegetative stabilization. So the plan would be not to save restoration necessarily until the end of the 4-year project, right? Because they're going to be working on the S8 line first and sort of building out the temporary work areas that they need to conduct that. When they're done with the S8 line and they move over to the V5, U6, the plan would be to restore the S8 work pads because most of the matting that's used for them would be flipped over to the V5, U6, as a way of, basically leapfrogging matting through the right of way. And anytime they lift mats, there's an environmental monitor that the company engages. That will be through my company, VHB, who one of our sort of things that we review in the right of way includes the mat removal and assessment of the condition of the wetland beneath them when those are pulled. So if we deem it necessary to do any kind of an overseeding, because the vegetation has been dampened long enough where we just want to help it along with its restoration, we'll do an overseed with a wetland seed mix, and then typically like a blown straw mulch, something that is weed free and effective. Usually these areas are generally pretty flat, so we find that the blown straw works well. If any areas in the right of way are sloping in any way, we would tend to transition to either an erosion control blanket type product or some type of a hydro mulch applied with like a bonded fiber matrix, something with a tackifier in it that would, stick and hold, for depending on the time of year. It might be up to 6 months if it's sort of a fall stabilization measure, or if it's a spring, we might only need something that would last, a couple of months for stuff to grow in. So in addition to sort of reviewing that, the environmental monitor that's on site, which would be at least 1 day weekly, if not more, depending on the certain activities that are going on at the time in the right of way. They're basically assessing erosion control condition throughout the construction phase of the project, making sure that if there are areas that need maintenance, such as a sock line that maybe got driven over by a track piece of equipment and they got torn open, we'll identify the need to replace those as part of an action log. If there's a need to supplement erosion controls, what we show on the plans that are on the screen here, what you have in front of you that we've submitted, are what we consider to be the bare minimum necessary. And if there's a need, based on observation of improving the situation, whether that's through perhaps diverting stormwater runoff to sites, or adding supplemental controls like water bars or an additional line of state compost filter stock or check dams and those sort of things. We'll identify all those items to the contractor. Typically, they have roughly about a week to comply with getting that item addressed. If there's something that we deem to be like an immediate threat or danger to a wetland or some other sensitive receptor, we would be contacting the foreman on the job that day and request that a fix be applied immediately, which typically would either be done that day or the following day, depending on where it is and what it is. The environmental monitor is basically on the job from the start of any activity, which would be the vegetation mowing, until the final restoration, at which point we'd be before you again with a certificate of compliance request. So that's kind of the nutshell approach to the project, and I'm happy to answer any questions or flip through plans if folks want to kind of go through the legend and what's on the plans. They can be a little complicated if you benefit from seeing that, but I'm happy to do whatever you'd like here. So I don't want to keep talking without letting you have a chance to jump in with some questions here.
All right. Thank you, Adam. I'll just start by saying that was really thorough, and it sounds like you've thought of everything from the beginning to the end. So we really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Great job. Bob, do you have anything that you want to say
Well,
at?
I was with Tommy Edison when he put this plan forward initially, but yeah, I mean, I think that, Adam did a great job in terms of National Grid being responsible. And I mean, I've worked with VHB both in Rhode Island and Massachusetts. So, I mean, this is, we can't ask for anything more than this, but at the same time, we do need electricity.
Right.
And I'll just add that I drive by the Somerset where this is starting every time I come into Bridgewater. So, I mean, I think that, I'm very comfortable that this is in good hands.
It sounds like it.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Commission members, anybody want to chime in?
I'll just mirror what Bob said. It's in extremely good hands. Well done plan. I thought he was going to say he was 100 years old as with Edison, but no, it's a well planned and going to be well supervised maintenance, very well needed. I've got no issues this time at all.
Thanks.
Great.
Anyone else? Eileen?
I'm a great presentation and I'm good.
Okay, thank you. Harry?
Adam, that was super, and I'm fine.
Thank you.
Thanks. Mark?
I thought it was great. It sets a lot of precedents for native plants and handling of invasive plants. We really good to get some precedents in here. So sounds good.
Agreed. Okay, well, is there any public comment? Anyone online that needs to ask a question or
Pat Neri has her hand raised.
Pat, do you want to introduce yourself and your address, please, for the record?
Thank you. Pat Neary, 225 Lakeside Drive. That was an excellent presentation, probably more than I needed to know. But I wanted to just mention to you, Mr. Rosenblatt, that whenever I go by, I live very close to that facility. And whenever I go by, there's always a ton of litter right across the street from your gate, that goes into the facility. And I've tried to reach out to people there to see if they would clean it up. It's not your responsibility, but perhaps you can mention it to someone because there's always litter there. And we have to take care of our own properties. So I think you do too.
Yeah, I can absolutely take that away. When you say the facility, you're describing the Bridgewater substation itself on Pleasant Street?
Right there on 104, yes.
Okay. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
it's usually on the south side of the street, not the north side where your facility is, but it's on your property.
Oh, okay. So it's on.
So Adam, on the south side, the substation is on the north side. South side is where your transmission lines, where that easement area starts. There is a gate there. I think that's what Ms. Neary is referring to.
Right,
Okay.
but it's opposite the gate. Yeah, on the other side of the street. You probably see it when you come off of the exit, Bob. So I would appreciate
every day.
anything you do. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Yeah, no, it's I'll take note of that. It's actually not in my plan view because that is a different circuit than this
Right.
project. But
Right.
I will bring it back to the operation and maintenance
Yeah.
group over there and see
I've
if we can
had to
get
do
something
this.
done.
I've had to do the same thing with Home Depot down the street. They have a ton of litter there and you speak to somebody and they get it cleaned up. So that would be wonderful.
I'll
Thank-
do my best. I will
Thanks, Adam.
pass it on. Thank you.
Pat.
And unfortunately, power lines tend to get some trash activity, so my suggestion sometimes is just to put a sign up, 24-hour surveillance. They are,
We like those 24
they are
hours.
frequented, unfortunately, these power lines.
Thank you,
right.
Mr. Ratt. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Neary. Anybody else, Bob?
Let me check, because I do not see anything else, Madam Chairman. Chairwoman, sorry.
That's okay. All right, so do we have enough information that we can close the hearing? Do we want to close and make a motion?
If Chair wants to entertain a motion to close public hearing, notice of intent, V5, V6, and S58, rather, 115 transmission lines. Applicant New England Power Company and VHB.
Okay, I'm just gonna fix the letters on that because it's V5, U6, and S8, because it wasn't right on the agenda, just so we.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Do we have a second for that?
Second,
Thank you. Roll call vote, Marilyn,
Aye.
Harry,
aye.
Eileen,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
and myself, Wendy, aye. All right, and then that is closed. Do we have a motion to? Always get confused with these.
Chair can entertain a motion to approve.
Approve, that's what I want. I'm always confused with approve or issue. Okay,
No worries. Notice of intent.
Second.
Yeah, good, thanks. I was looking at my U5 that I just changed over.
V5, U6.
V5. Sounds like we're playing Suck My Battleship.
Yes,
So you have a motion and a second to approve the
Oh.
NOI.
okay, so we are all set with that. So we have a roll call vote. Marilyn?
Aye.
Harry?
Aye.
Eileen?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
And myself, Wendy? Aye. All right, thank you so much, Adam.
Great. Thank you very much.
Good
Everyone
luck
have a
with the
great
start
day.
of it all. You too.
Thank you. Bye now.
Bye. Okay, last up under new business, we have a request for determination of applicability, 64 Pleasant Drive, map 61, lot 41. The applicant representative is Laura White. I'll read the legal notice, 64 Pleasant Drive, Bridgewater, legal notice, notice of public hearing, Conservation Commission, Bridgewater, Mass. In accordance with Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, in the Town of Bridgewater Local Wetland Bylaw, the Bridgewater Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on hearing meeting on 6/13/24 for a notice of intent of determination of applicability filed by Laura White. The applicant proposes to clear and clean the brush and debris. The property is owned by Laura White and is located at 64 Pleasant Drive. 6441. Please contact the Bridgewater Conservation Office at 508-697-0950 for the time and location or link for virtual participation. All interested parties are encouraged to attend. Agenda can be found at www.bridgewaterma.org at least 48 hours prior to the meeting date. And abutters have been notified. So, is someone on, is Laura, are you on and just want to talk a little bit?
I am. I
Okay,
am on.
okay,
So firstly, I don't know how to follow that last act. I don't have nearly.
So Laura, if you could just
Yours
identify
isn't as
yourself and name
complicated.
and address, please. Just
What is
Oh,
it?
name and address.
For the
for
record, if you could just.
Oh, I'm sorry.
name and
My
address,
name is
please.
Laura White, and my street address is 64 Pleasant Drive in Bridgewater.
Thank you.
No problem. So honestly, like I bought the house and the previous owner just kind of let everything get very, very overgrown. So I'm looking we have children, obviously. Well, we have children, and I just wanted to clean up the property. When we bought the property, there was a lot of like new growth trees and trees that had died and had come down or were precariously kind of leaning on one another. The entire the entire property is very much infested with like poison ivy and like wild raspberry, which the thorns are pretty brutal on. So we're just trying to like clean it up. And I mean, honestly, I think for years people would just kind of like it's a corner lot, so people walk their dog by. So I'm currently just trying to like pick up the dog mess bags and the nip bottles and things that people just walking by just kind of like, we're like, oh, I'm all done with this, and kind of threw it into the briars. So I'm just trying to clear like the briars, make it a little bit of livable space. I just genuinely just want like a safe environment where I don't have to worry that like my kids are going to try to climb up like a half dead tree that's leaning on another tree and hurt themselves or hurt the property. I have 2 children that are very allergic to poison ivy, and I just don't want to see them on recurrent steroid dosing to try to deal with that. So I'm just trying to clean things up, clear out the underbrush, and kind of, establish some garden and like close to the house, far outside of your buffer zone, but just broad stroke plan.
Yep.
And I'm just looking to like kind of clean things up and get it livable and beautiful. The rest of the houses in our neighborhood are beautiful, and then you come and it looks like nobody's lived in our house for 20 years. I know that's not the case, but like, we're just trying to beautify the property and make it safe, both for our property and for our kids on the property. And I'm just trying to do that, but we are within, so a strip down if you're looking at my house from Pleasant Street, the left-hand strip closest to Grange Park does fall within the 100-yard or 100-foot buffer from the wetlands that are located on the opposite side of Grange Park Drive. Like the road comes down the middle, but we're within the buffer zone. So we're just trying to make sure that, we don't do anything to upset anybody or anything. We just want to make it livable. And so here we are.
Here we are.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for that, Laura. I think that, Marilyn, can I ask you just to take the lead on this, because you've been out with a couple of other people, so.
Absolutely. Thanks. And Laura, a good presentation on your property, honey. So what we,
Thank you.
Harry and I got notified of a anonymous complaint on 64 Pleasant. We shot out that day, and sorry, I don't have it in front of me or the date. And I did leave a message. The homeowner wasn't home to cease activities until they contacted the Conservation Commission. By the time me and Harry got to the Conservation Office, she had already called on what to do. So between all of us, we have gone out to this property, taken a look at it. I know several members are very familiar with it. It is a maintenance issue. It is different. Yeah, they are in the, jurisdiction, but they also, have to do some maintenance and safety issues. So the work that they're proposing to me does not, fit in our jurisdiction. It would be under a negative determination and would put them in the vice. Now I've had discussions with her if she wanted to do anything further, any bigger maintenance, anything dredging in there, that would definitely fall under a notice of intent, and they would have to come before the board. But I think pretty much everybody has gone out to this property, looked at it. I know Eileen's very familiar with it also from having it on the market, that it is just, we don't want trees falling on houses. We don't want rough stuff growing, and she's working, putting, plants right by her house area. So to me, it's very appropriate. Like I said, they were very cooperative when we came out, and they just want to do the right thing. We want to make sure that they're permitted properly to do any maintenance on their property, and definitely keep the kids safe. While I was out on one of the visits, the hubby did mention to me that there was a culvert. I think we do need to let Azu know, Bob, on Pleasant there, that the town should take a look at that culvert if it's causing any problems in those areas of wetlands too. So
To be clear, Marilyn, Laura is the property owner.
Yes.
She's here.
Yeah.
We're talking
I
about it in
already-
the third person.
Oh,
She's
no, I was
fine.
talking about a
She's fine.
Zoom. There you are. Oh, Scrubs.
Hi,
She's
sorry, I
apparently
figured
a
out how to turn the
medical
camera
professional
on.
too, so.
So I'll let everybody else talk, but I think we've pretty much all gone out there taking a good look at the property, and I have no issues with what they're doing, and she's got a good sound understanding. If she needs to do anything further and going into the encroachment of those wetland areas, she would have to come back with a notice of intent. So I am good with a negative determination. So anybody, other members, please?
Totally agree. I was out there. I know the property extremely well. And it's a lot of down trees and a big mess. Wasn't cared for properly. There were two very elderly people.
Yeah.
living there for a long time.
Yeah, I'm good with the issuing a negative determination too. I mean, I think maintenance is important. You've got kids, poison ivy, I'm highly allergic to, so I get it. And just if anything in the future that you need to add, yes, you would have to come before the board again.
Okay, yeah.
Anybody else?
I got a question. Is there gonna be any raising of the grade there? No, okay. No.
Maybe I'm a little ignorant. What's raising of the grid, like filling in?
Filling what we mentioned, if you fill, you'd have to do a notice of intent.
Oh, yeah, no, not unless somebody would like to fund that project for me. Sounds a little expensive. To be honest,
That
I
would be
just
the
want to
second
make it
negative
so.
determination.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I just want to make it so that like people don't come back in the house, my kids don't come back in the house like cut up from thorn bushes, covered in poison ivy, you know, unable to use the space. I just want to make sure that, and I also don't want a tree to fall on my house. But if I ever come into a large sum of money, I will revisit the board about filling in that front.
All right, let's see what's up for lottery numbers this week.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, anybody else? Wendy, going back to you then, Harry, anybody else?
Nope.
All right, I just asked the audience and then we could do a closed nomination.
Okay. I would make a motion to issue a negative determination for 64 Pleasant Drive, map 61, lot 44.
Wendy, before we make that motion, just make sure
Yes, sir.
nobody here is here on this property filing.
Oh, that's right. Are there any abutters? Sorry, that have any questions or concerns?
No worries.
Use the raise the hand or signal to me if you have your camera on. I am not seeing anyone, Madam Chairwoman.
All right, then Wendy, if Chair would entertain a motion, please, to close the request for operability of 64 Pleasant Drive, map 61, lot 41.
Yes. Do I have to repeat that whole thing?
Now somebody could just second.
A second.
Second.
So you have a motion and a second.
Are you taking it over, Marilyn, or do you want me
If you want me to finish, all right, roll call vote, Wendy.
to? Yes, aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Harry,
Aye.
Eileen,
Aye.
myself, aye. Chair can entertain a motion, Vice Chair can entertain a motion to issue a negative determination. Negative means you good. Negative determination, RDA on 64 Pleasant Drive, map 61, lot 41.
Second.
There any further discussion?
Nope.
Okay, roll call vote. Wendy,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Harry,
Aye.
Eileen,
Aye.
myself, aye. All right, thank you very much, Laura. Thank you very much for being your
All right, Laura.
cooperation with the board. We appreciate that. And
I do just want to say that everybody who has come out, I am like a very nervous person, and you guys have all dealt with me with a huge amount of grace, and I appreciate all the help. Sorry, I'm so psychotic. I just get very nervous. Like I don't want any problems.
no worries, we're here to help, and you reached out the right way, so thank you, and enjoy your evening.
Well, I appreciate it, guys.
I hope
Thank
you're
you
going
so
home,
much.
not going into shift.
You're welcome.
No, I'm still on shift. I'm on a 24. I'm just sitting in the parking lot.
All right, get back in. Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
All right, you're welcome. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Okay, so next up, we have Conservation Commission business, administrative items. I don't know, we have, so there's I might take these out of order. We have somebody maybe explaining a project just a little bit, so if we can do the cease and desist for 1361 Vernon Street. I have Maryland written next to that, so I'm not quite sure.
So there was some illegal tree cutting going on
Uh-huh.
town property. Marilyn, I believe, and Eileen and Steve Solari, the building official, went out to the property, issued a cease and desist letter. As Marilyn shared, the property owner was not combative, agreeable, and knows that he needs to come in the future before the Conservation Commission, but needs to cease the activities that he was performing.
Okay.
And then with respect to the 456 Bedford Street, the rescinding the enforcement order, that initially came before you because there was an application before the planning board. I'm happy to say that they have actually cleaned up that site. They had a large amount of motorcycle and motorcycle parts that were in proximity to the stream. All of those have been removed. And the planning board is moving forward in terms of giving them the relief they're seeking for additional parking. So I just a formality that we can rescind the order.
Okay, great.
And
Thank
then
you.
0 Bedford Street, I'm not sure I know what that is.
Huh. Yeah, it just says somebody was maybe.
I'm Ken Barnard, 90 Sea Tower Drive is home address and new owner of 0 Bedford, to the right
Okay.
of Bridgewater Fitness.
John Mafalka.
Okay,
And Chris,
right.
the other owner, Chris Lyons, is also on. Hello.
Hi.
And I'm not a professional. Chris is more seasoned than I, but we don't have a professional representative. What we really wanted to do is show you guys a concept that we had been discussing with our engineer, just to get maybe preliminary feedback or thoughts on how to access the rear of our property.
Yeah, I mean, Madam Chair, and I'll defer to Ms. McDonald as well. I don't know that if they're going to share plans, whether it's necessarily administrative item or, we could put it on the agenda for, I'll defer to Marilyn what her thoughts are. I mean, I'm familiar with now that I know the address, I understand what they want to do. I just want to make sure we're following the right protocol in terms of having a discussion, because you can't make any decisions and you can't make any recommendations as an administrative matter.
Yeah, and I was aware of that. I think it was more discussionary, or at least getting a concept out there, and if there's not much that can be commented on it, I guess we can be added to the next meeting.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the good news is these gentlemen acquired the property and have cleaned it up,
Yep.
which is
I noticed that. Yep, I noticed
Yeah,
that.
we actually, in the PNS, he was supposed to clean it up. We couldn't wait for him anymore, so we changed the PNS and took responsibility for that and did it as quickly as we could after closing. And I guess the informal thing that we were trying to discuss is, a potential easement of 241 square feet to access the back of our property. And we don't have well, our engineer drew up a plan, but it's not presented to the town in any fashion. I could pull it up share my screen.
So Ken, I don't know. I mean, and I'm happy to sit down with you guys again. I mean, I'm definitely supportive of what you want to do, but I don't know if we're somewhere between the planning board, the ZBA, and the Conservation Commission at this point. So maybe having you guys come in and let's just sit down, and then we have plenty of time to add it to the agenda for the next meeting if necessary. I just want to make sure that it's in the appropriate place on the agenda.
I was just going to say the same thing, Bob. It needs to be, added to an appropriate agenda and stuff. So.
And can I just ask, since it was listed under administrative items, because Nicole had said that they were just explaining the project, what is going in there?
So my business and Chris's business, we own separate businesses. We'd like to put our businesses in there. The idea would be a rectangular building, something like contractor bays.
Yep.
And then we'd like to build a second building in the rear of our property that would get into more of, formal meeting agendas and, pathways to be able to access the rear of the property.
Mhm.
But owner occupied, as well as likely some tenants, because I don't think we want to occupy all of the square footage with our businesses.
Okay.
So technically for the building they're doing closer to Bedford Street, I don't know that they necessarily need to be before you. I think what they're looking for is some guidance with respect to whatever they do with the rear of the parcel.
There's a
Correct.
river back there,
The front
right?
building is pretty much outside of the wetland, 100-foot buffer. The second building in the rear, the building itself is outside of the buffer. It's more access in that area with a driveway or right away.
So can I just ask one question while you're saying outside the buffer? Have you had that, like an ANRAD on it or a wetland person look on it so we know that the exact wetland line is there? Is there an active wetland line? Because that would be your first stop of shopping.
Yeah, so we had it flagged and we've had the survey done and they've put that on the survey. There was an existing order of conditions that we found when we were in the process of purchasing the property, and it was open from like the 80s. And that, we kind of got that rectified. The previous owner created a berm, and that was as part of the order of conditions. So the wetland line is very easily determined. It's a berm that runs along this wetland line.
So your wetland line still has to be renewed every 3 years. So your first thing that you'd want to do is go and hire somebody to do that line, and it
Yeah, we
has to
did
be
that.
approved by conservation, because we
Okay.
can't accept anything that's outdated 3 years.
No, we just did that like a few months ago.
Okay, all right, so you're on the right track.
Yeah, it's on the plan that we have that we could show if you wanted.
Okay,
So
so
I would suggest you contact our office and let's figure out
Yeah.
where on the agenda it should be for the next meeting.
Yeah, it definitely has to come before the board's approval, so, but at least you've got that work done to start it. Thank you.
All right.
Excuse me, board, I heard my address mentioned and I am here on Zoom. I was told, I believe by Marilyn, 1361 Vernon Street.
Yes, he is here.
I don't know if you can see me, but I am here.
We can see you. So,
Okay.
Bob, this was the,
Cease and desist.
on 1361 Vernon that you just mentioned. So we did go out and serve him the cease and desist. Again, he understood no activity till he comes in with us. So I would guess that you would advise him to be in contact with your office on, I would believe it's an NOI to file, and we need to mitigate, and there's a lot of stuff out there that needs to be addressed, so.
That's correct.
Okay.
I would suggest that I would encourage him to meet with myself and Mr. Solari.
Okay, so
Okay.
Mr. Harrington, did you hear that?
I did. And where would I do that? At what time?
At the Bridgewater Town Hall, 66 Academy, the Academy Building, 66 Central Square. You can reach out to Nicole in my office. She'll coordinate times for both Mr. Solari and myself to meet with you. We can
And you
do
have that
it in,
number.
we can do it in
So-
person or we can do it virtually.
Okay, but Nicole at the town hall.
Right, in the Community and
Conservation.
Economic Development Office.
It's downstairs in the downstairs.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great.
And
It's-
Mr. Harrington, you have that number on the form I gave you, so you have the number to call on the form to coordinate with Nicole.
Which would be 0950, correct?
You got it,
Correct.
The last
and she'll
four.
set you all up with her and Bob.
Okay, so ask for Nicole and yeah, all right, no problem, because I'd like to meet with you people, because I've never cut nothing back there. I have wood trucked in here. I do cut, but the wood comes from
Yeah,
not
we'll,
from
we'll,
this
we'll
property.
talk about it when
We'll
you
figure
come
it
in.
out, yeah.
Okay, all right, fine, that's fine. Thank you very much.
We
Appreciate
just
that.
thank you for your cooperation. Have a good
All
one.
right, thank you. Thank you
All
for your
right,
time.
thank you.
Bye-bye.
Right? Okay,
And
so
Wendy,
that's
for the record, it's not the lower level, we're in the garden level.
garden level. Oh, my bad. So sorry. Okay, so next up we have minutes. If people got a chance to take a look at them from, we have 4 of them that were on. 4/11, 4/25, May 9th, May 23rd. Did people get a chance to look at them and we can just accept all? Did anybody not?
I did not. I looked, the meeting before, I did not.
Okay.
But
So
if everybody, I mean, if you still have more of a quorum, if they did, then fine.
I
You
did
can,
not,
you can continue it if you need to.
yeah, I didn't have a chance.
Okay,
Alright.
we're continuing then. So we'll just continue them till the next meeting. Everybody really try to take a look at the 4 of them. And then we'll accept them next time if they're all set.
I promise, teacher, I'll have it done by next meeting.
Listen,
I
I'm
did not do
done.
my
I'm
homework
done.
in time at this
Pretty
one.
much I'm done tomorrow. No teachering for me. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, anything else? If not, entertain a motion
Motion to adjourn.
in a second.
Second,
All right, we're good.
Excuse me.
Bye.
All
Hello?
right. Yes?
Hi,
Oh.
I had called up last week and spoke to Nicole and they were supposed to put me on today for 0 Bedford Street, and I know you guys just did it, 0 Bedford Street. I guess
Can you
there's
just give your, we're still on, so can you just give your name?
Sure. My name is Vasilios Alexopoulos, and I'm calling in regards to 0 Bedford Street.
Okay, and your current address?
My
Just-
current address is 12 Treeland Drive, Walpole, Massachusetts.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Sorry
So
about that.
that's okay. What did you want to add in anything before?
No, so this is something totally different than the previous 0 Bedford Street that you were talking about. I spoke to Mr. Rulli last week or a week and a half ago, and he told me to call Nicole and ask her to put me on. That I'm looking to purchase a property. It's called 0 Bedford Street. It's right next to the transfer station.
yep,
And that property's been on the market for 2-3 years. The owner's been having a really tough time trying to sell it because there's not too much he can do there. He's done several perk tests.
Can we, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but can we just facilitate what this pertains with the wetlands agenda and what you need us for, so we can help you out?
So yeah, sure. So I'm interested in purchasing the property and using the lot, and I was trying to, because there's a lot of wetlands. It's 27 acres. There's about 5 acres of uplands, and I wanted to. I have a landscape company, and I wanted to see if there's some usage that I can make out of this property. I was looking through the table of regulations and the bylaws, and section F. Number 6 says sales place for flowers, garden supplies, agricultural produce, partially or wholly outdoors, including commercial greenhouse. And additionally, in section 8, I'm sorry.
So I'm just going to stop you for 1 minute. So right now you do not own the property, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so what you'll need to do is, if you purchase a property, or if you have permission to be the applicant of the property owner right now, you would need to come in and file what we call an ANRAD. So we can then go out and see what the wetlands are. But right now we're just kind of pulling, trees off of limbs. We don't know. But we can't assume and tell you anything until you need to get a wetland specialist out there, botanist. You need permission. If you don't buy the land, you need permission from the landowner as an applicant to file that. But that we really can't say anything what you can and cannot do until we get professional eyes on the wetlands.
So everything, I noticed, I heard earlier you guys mentioned that they have to be flagged every 3 years. I mean, I have a map that was all delineated, all marked, the wetlands area. I mean, I don't know how much wetlands actually moves per year, but I have a map from about 7 years ago. You guys can look at it.
Yeah, that's not valid. You have to go, it has to be done every 3 years and stay valid. So that obviously expired. So until we get a new report, until we get in wetlands can change, depends on the area. But until we get a new report in, there's really not much we can further discuss. And you can get permission as the non-owner of the land. If the current landowner grants you that permission, you can file as an applicant. So that would be the first step, and then we can take it from there, okay?
Okay, and that's just to see if I can do one of the existing.
We have to know what we're working with for wetlands first, yep.
Okay,
It's a two-step process, Bill. I mean, so delineating the wetlands will be able to determine where you can do something. And
Yeah.
then there's some planning board issues, whether or not, you've talked about what the allowable uses are, but the issue there is that there's no public water, no public sewer, and whether or not you're gonna put a septic system in or how you're gonna deal with wastewater.
okay. Yeah, no, that's definitely a thing. And then I saw on there, it said contractor's yard, so I didn't know.
Yeah, but those are planning board issues or zoning board.
Yeah, I
issues.
was just gonna say, wait, yeah, let's,
Okay, so it's better to talk to the planning board.
Right, I mean, the first thing anyone's gonna wanna know is, of that 20+ acres, what can you actually use?
Yeah, okay. And would that be considered the uplands, do you think?
Yeah,
you
that
have
is
to
the
get your
uplands.
area resource done, yeah, so that you
Okay.
know kind of the playground you have, let's put it that way.
Okay, okay,
All right.
that's fine. This,
Perfect. And
7
Nicole
years
and,
ago, I had 5 acres. I mean, I'm good with an acre, so I'm sure, I'll have somebody, I can get somebody to go out there or get permission to have somebody to go out there. But, if, assuming there was an acre of uplands,
we can't, we really just gotta get the INRAD in, we really can't discuss too much further on it, so.
Okay,
Get your
Okay.
wetland specialist, reach out to Bob and Nicole, they'll certainly get you on the schedule once you have an INRAD, and we have to go and look at
Okay.
that line, and then we can talk more to help you out, okay?
okay, great. Thank you
All
so
right,
much.
thank you, have a good night.
You as well.
All right, I think we did the adjournment, so I think we're good.
Yes,
Right, Wendy, you good?
we are,
Good,
we are,
okay.
and we had a second, so we're all set.
All right,
All right,
Ciao.
everybody,
all right, log it off.
good
Bye.
night. Thank you. Bye, Bob.
See ya.